and why we are here to chat with you right now.
Alrighty. Hi, everyone, and welcome. I just wanted to share with you that I'm so happy that you continue to stay joining us, and welcome to the athletic portion of our program. I just also want to let you know that if you miss anything or you want to go back to anything or you want to share this with a friend, we're going to be recording the session so that you can always have a referral for yourself. I wanted to let you know just personally why I love so much being a liaison with athletics, not only because of Bobby's wonderful team as our director, but also just because of how ethical they are about what it means to be a student athlete. We're very proud of our relationship with them and them taking the mission seriously, of the mission that admissions has as well, of bringing in students that we want to be able to make sure you're successful both in the classroom and also on the field and courts as well. And I also just wanted to share with you how much I love being able to be a student athlete. When I was in school, I too was a 3-sport student athlete. So I appreciate your desire, wanting to continue to be able to play your sport and to be able to have that desire to want to play after high school. So, and I can't think of a more concerning time right now in our country for those of you mom and dads and families that are listening, to know that when your son or daughter leaves your home, that they're going to be coming to another home here at Brandywine. And it's very comforting for me to be able to share that with you, because I've never been at a place that makes that so more true than now. So welcome. And with that, I'm going to introduce Bobby Caprice, our director.
Hello, everyone. I think that Carrie's still trying to work on getting my video up. I apologize that I can't be seen. Should I just get started, or Carrie, do you think you'll be able to get me back on?
I'm poking around with all these fun settings behind the scenes. Zoom is a fun beast to work with. So we'll keep poking around, but I think you should go ahead and get started, because even though we can't see your face, we can hear the awesome things you're saying to us. So chat with us. We'd love to hear you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, admissions. Thank you, Pammy. Good afternoon, 2020 recruited athletes and families. As Pammy mentioned, my name is Bobby Caprice, and I'm the Director of Athletics at Penn State Brandywine. And I hope that all of you guys are staying safe and healthy during this unprecedented time in our lives. Our recruit dinner is usually my favorite event of the year, and it breaks my heart that we all can't be together in person. However, it's so wonderful to have each of you joining with us remotely. I hope this morning's program has answered some questions for you regarding admissions, housing, and beyond. We will use this last hour to talk with you specifically about athletics and answer any questions that you have. We want to ensure to each of you that Brandywine is the right decision for you both academically and athletically. Recruits, you are at a very exciting time in your lives. While most athletic careers end following high school, you will have the opportunity to continue competing in the sport you love at the next level. What Penn State Brandywine represents in the process is an opportunity to compete at the highest level while also receiving a world-class education. When you graduate from Penn State Brandywine, your degree will say the Pennsylvania State University. The opportunity to compete in athletics in a small class setting while receiving a Penn State education is truly the best of both worlds. At Penn State Brandywine, our athletes understand that academic success is our #1 priority. College is going to be the peak of your athletic career. We expect our student athletes to be going pro in something other than sports, which is why making the most of your opportunities on campus and going to class to receive a Penn State education is so important. Yes, Brandywine is the most successful campus in our conference on the field, but what we are most proud of is the success and the honors our student athletes receive in the classroom on an annual basis. Every semester, we have numerous athletes who've received academic accolades, such as Academic All-Conference, National Academic Team, and Academic All-American. During the fall semester, our department GPA was above a 3.0. We had over 6 of our teams post a GPA above a 3.2. This is truly what we celebrate. If you've been on our campus recently, or specifically in our gym, you've seen just how successful our athletes and our teams have been both on and off the field. Since the beginning of the 2017-2018 academic year, our teams have won 11 conference championships. All 5 of our women's teams that compete in the Penn State University Athletic Conference have won titles in the last 6 years. And in addition, this fall, we had our first ever individual women's cross-country champion. In addition, no Penn State campus has claimed more All-Americans, All-Conference, or Conference Player of the Year honors during that time than Brandywine. Our championship winning teams and individuals have also succeeded at the national level. Our men's soccer team won our first ever national championship in 2018. The women's soccer team was also runner-up that year, and our softball team has placed in the top 5 at the USCAA World Series for the last 4 straight seasons. Both our men's and women's basketball teams reached the national semifinals in 2018 as well. Coming to Penn State Brandywine is truly a win-win situation for student athletes. Experiencing all that comes with college athletics, that's winning championships, traveling with your teams, attending national championships. Pair that with the opportunity to receive an education from the top 1% of universities in the world while staying in a small class size. That is truly a unique experience that I hope you will take advantage of. More so, Penn State Brandywine's campus is growing. Our residence hall, which just opened in 2017, houses 250 students. Just over 20% of the students living in Orchard Hall are athletes. In addition, our campus opened a brand new, beautiful student union building, which includes a cafeteria, lounge space, and what I'm missing most right now, our Penn State Creamery ice cream. What a great opportunity for you to utilize these facilities. It is an exciting time on our campus, and we're really eager to share it with you, our newest group of incoming student athletes. If you've already made your decision to attend Penn State Brandywine, we welcome you to our Brandywine family, and we look forward to seeing you on the field for the next 4 years. If you have not yet made your decision, we hope you will use this time to answer and ask any questions that you may have. However, before we open up the floor for questions, I want to invite 2 special people to share with you their Brandywine experience. First up, Nate Bowman, a freshman member of our men's soccer team. Nate is from York, PA, and spent this last year living in our residence hall. Nate?
Hi, as Bobby had mentioned, my name is Nathan Bowman, and I would like to start by congratulating all of you on getting to this point. Going through the recruitment process is exciting, frustrating, and scary, but the one thing you all should be is proud. I'm currently a freshman at Penn State Brandywine and a member on our soccer team. For years before college, I had played club soccer, but I had started my recruitment process late compared to most of my teammates. I was rushing around, emailing coaches to come to my tournaments, calling them, sending them emails with my highlight clips. Most of the coaches I had talked to were strictly business and wanted to know how I was going to help them on the soccer field. But when I called our men's coach, Tom Greenwalt, he took the time out of his day to ask me how I was and tell me what he was going to do for me. He stressed to me the importance of my education and coupled it with the importance of being an active member on the team. He watched my highlight reel and got me in contact with the wonderful Myeisha, who I'm sure many of you know. She was incredible at making me feel welcome to Penn State Brandywine when I came for a tour. And it was not just her, but the smaller population of campus made me feel important and gave me a very homey vibe. The friendly atmosphere at Brandywine and success of the soccer program put it high on my list. When it came closer to my decision-making day, I was debating between Penn State Brandywine and a Division III college in Maryland. That was when my parents received the statements about how much each college was going to cost. And the relatively inexpensive tuition here at Brandywine made my decision even easier. Getting on campus for preseason was intimidating. Leaving my parents behind and living on my own seemed like an impossible task. However, after just our first morning practice of the season, Myeisha came by and picked everyone up who wanted to go to Wawa for breakfast. This was the perfect opportunity for me to meet people that I would be living with in the residence hall. This is only one example of the many team and community building exercises that Brandywine offers to make me feel more comfortable. During the season, there were multiple times I had to miss class for a game, and I never had an issue with any of my professors as they are all very understanding of our student athlete situation. It did not take long for our team to become a family. I have become very close with many of my teammates, and we get together almost every night in the lounges of the residence hall or at a teammate's house to spend time together to become better friends and teammates. Looking back at the season and my 2 semesters in college, I can see that I've come a long way, both in the classroom and on the soccer field. And I couldn't have made all these achievements had I not come to Brandywine. Thank you so much. Stay safe.
Hello, everyone. It's Bobby again. Thank you so much, Nate, for sharing your experience. Next, I would like to introduce to you Julie Foeldes. Julie was a 4-year member of our softball team and a summa cum laude graduate from Penn State. Julie's currently working on her doctorate at Rutgers University.
All right, thanks, Bobby. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Julie Foeldes, and I played 4 years of softball at Brandywine before graduating in 2018. During my time at Brandywine, I got to experience the best of both worlds that our campus has to offer through athletics and academics. I was a member of the first 4 championship-winning softball teams in our campus's history and got to travel to 4 USCAA World Series. I'm originally from New Jersey, and I lived all 4 years in an off-campus apartment with a group of my teammates. I made a lot of great friendships through playing softball at Brandywine, and I consider many of my teammates to be some of my closest friends. Because of the campus size, Penn State Brandywine also allows you the opportunity to become close with professors, especially those in your major who you will likely have for multiple classes, while you're still getting that great Penn State education, which you've heard so much about today. I was a psychology major, and I was able to work under Dr. Joshua Marquette as a teaching assistant for some psychology classes during my final 2 years at Brandywine. I also worked on research with Dr. Marquette. Opportunities for learning outside of the classroom are equally important and are something available to Brandywine students if they wish to pursue them. Working with Dr. Marquette helped me a lot in getting to where I am today. As Bobby mentioned, I'm currently completing my 2nd year at Rutgers University as I work towards a doctorate degree in school psychology. I was also active in completing community service as a student athlete at Penn State Brandywine. I worked with Team Impact, which is a nonprofit that places children with serious illnesses with college athletic teams. Our softball team adopted and mentored a local girl who became the newest member of our team. I also volunteered with Media Youth Softball and as a mentor with the Big Brother, Big Sister program at Chester Community Charter School. Whatever it is you're looking to get out of your college experience, whether it be athletics related, academics, community service, or all 3, Penn State Brandywine has opportunities for you. I would encourage everyone to take advantage of the small class sizes to get to know your professors and the extracurriculars that are available outside of the day-to-day classroom learning. All of it will help you be successful in the future. Thank you all for your time, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Julie. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to who you all know very well, our recruiting coordinator, Myeisha Matos.
Thank you, Bobby. As Bobby and Nate mentioned, I'm the recruit coordinator. I've met and spoken with many of you either on campus visit or via email. I quickly wanted to let you all know that although our campus is currently closed, we still have availability for virtual visits at this time. If you are interested in scheduling a virtual visit to get to learn more about our athletic department, specifically a sport, please email me. My email is MIM5477. That's M as in Myeisha, M as in Myeisha, 5477 at psu.edu. I also want to make you all aware of some important dates that are coming up that you should keep clear on your calendar. June 10th and 11th are the first 2 student orientation dates, also known as NSL. And we encourage you all to attend on the first dates available. In order to schedule an NSL date, you must put down your enrollment deposit, complete your math placement exam, and register for the new student orientation, which should be beginning in the next few weeks. NSL dates fill up pretty quickly, so I recommend completing all steps as soon as possible. Lastly, if you compete in a fall sport and will be living in Orchard Hall, Sunday, August 16th will be your move-in date. The athletes moving in Sunday, August 16th, we will be hosting our athletic orientation, which is mandatory for all athletes. If you're a winter or spring athlete that lives more than an hour and a half away from campus and needs to move into the hall or early in order to attend orientation, please email me so we can accommodate.
I'm sure he is.
Winter and spring athletes that live less than 90 minutes away from campus will be able to move in August 20th. Thank you all for your time. Again, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to email me. Thank you all.
Thank you, Myeisha. I hope this hour is really informative and we can continue to answer any questions that you have. So at this time, I'll ask everyone to submit questions and I'll turn it over to Claire so she'll help us monitor them.
Thanks so much, Bobby, and thanks athletics team. You guys always really rock and you're such great advocates for students. So we do have some questions that have come in, and sorry, my video is not working either, but you can see me and the lion there. First question, recruitment process. Myeisha, you're a recruiting coordinator. If a student is not currently working with you, but they're interested in being an athlete at Penn State Brandywine, what can they do?
Sure thing. As I mentioned, my email is best way to contact me, but we also have a recruiting form on our website. If you go to our website, there's a left screen on the left side of the website. There's a thing called Prospective Athletes, and you can fill out the recruitment form, which allows me to receive your information electronically, as well as our coach. After that, between myself and the coach, we'll contact you, kind of learn more about the area that you're interested in, this specific sport, and then we'll go from there, setting up a visit, getting you to talk one-on-one with coach. Best way is either email or that recruitment form on our website.
Thank you so much. And Bobby, a question about division sports, and then it will actually segue into a second question about the 2+2. So first question is, can you speak to the division of sports at Penn State Brandywine, and so what that looks like for student athletes in terms of who they're competing against?
Of course. Yeah. Thank you, Claire. So our teams compete in the Penn State University Athletic Conference. That makes up 13 of the 20 Penn State campuses compete in the PSUAC. Nationally, we compete in the United States Collegiate Athletic Association. The USCAA really prides themselves off of being a national governing body for small colleges across America, giving our student athletes the opportunity to compete at a small level, being at a small campus. However, our non-conference schedule is made up of all Division III schools in the local area. So our level of competition is comparable to all local D3 schools that we compete against.
Thank you so much. So if a student is planning to do the 2+2 plan and start at Penn State Brandywine and finish at University Park, can you talk about the different opportunities that are available to students? So this specific question was about a softball player. But if there's other things you can speak on in terms of the 2+2 and then continue a career.
Certainly. So at University Park, the athletic programs up there compete at the Division I level. It's very unlikely for our student athletes to go up and compete at the varsity level up at University Park. It has happened in our conference, but again, it's very rare. What's more common is for students to compete for their first 2 years on our campus or one of the other Penn State campuses, and then transition to the club level up at University Park. Club sports at University Park are very competitive. They travel, pretty significantly, just like we do, but the level of competition is more comparable, for students transitioning up to University Park at the club level than the varsity level.
Thank you very much. We also have a question about transportation to and from games. Nate, I figure, this is a very real lived experience for you. So if you don't mind speaking to what that looks like from a student athlete perspective.
Yeah, of course. So typically the day before the game, we'll get told at practice what time the bus will be leaving. Generally it was a bus. Occasionally on very close games, we would take 2 vans, but there was always plenty of room getting to and from for both the athletes and all of our equipment. I remember on our way to the national tournament, we got a bus, and it was a great time. We all got to get in the back, and we played games together, and just it was a super long ride, but it felt like it took a couple minutes because we were having such a great time. And they meet in the front of the campus, so if you're living on campus, it's a short walk from the dorms to the parking lot where you'll meet. You get on the bus, and you'll be able to be transported at no additional cost, which is nice.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. All right. So another question here. Somebody asked specifically about the baseball team. Bobby, I'm going to direct this to you if you don't mind. Could you just talk about what our baseball team looks like for students?
Certainly. Our baseball team's pretty competitive. For the last 25 years, we've been within the top I'd say the top four in the conference. Our baseball team has probably the most longest standing success of any of our programs at Brandywine. Again, the team competes in the PSJC. They were looking really promising this year. Really unfortunate that the team, was unable to complete their season this spring, but I know Coach Gallo is really excited to bring in a great group of class for this fall and be back to the conference championship again next spring.
Thank you so much. And so a couple of questions. Myeisha, I believe you already answered about if students are a student athlete and then living on campus, they have the opportunity to come and live on campus earlier. Is that correct?
Correct. So all of our fall athletes are moving into campus a week prior to the traditional move-in date. So for example, Sunday, August 16th is the move-in date for all fall athletes. And then preseason starts August 17th, which is the very next day. So yes, athletes will have the opportunity to move into campus prior to preseason starting.
That's great. Thank you. And then a student had asked about the opportunity to room with an athlete. Can you talk about the kind of pairings for athletic roommates?
Sure thing. So our coaches do a really good job at pairing student athletes with one another. It's not mandatory. The student can opt out of rooming with a teammate if they wish, but that is an opportunity that does present itself. The process and the steps are a little complicated, but we are able to handle that all on the back end. Once we get into rooming assignments and things of that nature, I'll be in contact with you guys and your coaches with the steps to move forward with selecting your roommate.
That's great. Thank you. And just a heads up to attendees, we just have, it looks like one more question left. So if you do have a question, go ahead and put that in the Q&A box. And then in the meantime, we have a question. We have a student who asked the question about kind of how to balance being a student and an athlete, and they're nervous about balancing, their dedication to their sport, but also doing well in school. Julie, would you mind speaking to what that looks like for you, or looked like?
Yeah, no problem. So when I said I was from New Jersey, so I moved to an apartment and I was kind of nervous being on my own. For me, what I would do is take my syllabus and write out all of my assignments for the semester. I really like to cross things off lists and check them off. And I also enrolled in the tutoring credits. I don't know if they've been mentioned earlier on in the session, but it's a 1-credit course for writing and math. And if you show up, you are like practicing your skills, studying for tests, working on assignments. So I found that really helped me, especially I definitely did it both semesters, my freshman year and in my sophomore year. So I would definitely recommend doing that. It's not a huge commitment. And if you fulfill the requirements, you get an A, so it's a GPA booster. And I also spent a lot of time in the quiet zone. If I had class at 9 and then 11, I would spend that extra hour in the middle in the quiet zone, getting my homework done on campus, making sure I was staying on top of things. And also I know our coaches would occasionally check in, and Bobby can speak to the academic monitoring, but you have like your classmates, your professors, and your teammates and coaches, everyone's kind of there for you and to help you be on top of things to make sure you're getting all your work done.
That's great. Thank you. And Bobby, if you could speak to the academic monitoring for student athletes.
Of course. So as I mentioned earlier, academic success is our #1 priority for our student athletes. We take academic monitoring really seriously. So what that means for us is on the 4th, 8th, and 11th week of the semester, Myeisha and I will check in with all of our student athletes' professors, making sure that they're attending class and making normal progress in class as well. What we do is get all that feedback. We then share that with our coaches, who will sit down with our student athletes and develop a plan to make sure they're successful in class. That could be getting to them to the tutoring center, just like Julie mentioned, or perhaps there's a upperclassman teammate that has been successful in that class, and we can pair them up, make sure that they, each, could teach each other in the process, and making sure our student athletes have all the resources they need to be successful. That is definitely our #1 priority.
Thank you very much. So Nate, we've got a couple of questions about the men's soccer team. the first one is how often does the soccer team train? But then something that kind of build on that is just what does it look like day to day in the life of a student athlete, like if you were on the soccer team, for an example?
All right, so our soccer team trains every day during the season. Preseason, we have 2 practices a day, and then in the off season, we have a practice on Thursday and on Tuesday. The practices are very high intensity, but only about an hour and a half. So you get there, there's no standing around, you're working hard the whole time, but it's a relatively short time. That's as far as practices go. The everyday life, ultimately, you're a student first. So the first thing you need to make sure you're doing every day is going to your classes, getting your work done. But then you'll typically meet up with your teammates at lunch. You guys will talk, joke around, eat your lunch, go to class, and then get to practice. During practice, it's all business. You're zoned in. After practice, you have time for your homework before dinner, where you'll again meet up with teammates. And then on weekends, typically, if there's not a game, you'll get together at a house or at the residence hall, and you guys can play FIFA, watch games together, and build on your personalities as teammates too. So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Nate.
Hey, Claire, I'll jump in if you don't mind.
Oh, sure.
I just want to say that the Division III model really provides student athletes the balance between academics and athletics. We have what we call a 7-day rule so that our teams can never compete 7 days straight. There's always one off day. So typically that will be a Sunday or perhaps a Saturday, or occasionally if the teams has games on the weekends, that might be a random Tuesday or Wednesday. But again, there's always a day during the week where our student athletes have time where they can get their schoolwork done, again, number one priority, but also take advantage of working part-time or, even just balancing their social life. So we take our 7-day rule very seriously and always making sure that our students have that balance between academics and athletics and the rest of their priorities that they have going on.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. We have a few questions coming in about cheerleading. So what that looks like for students potentially at Penn State Brandywine, and then perhaps if they 2+2 to University Park, what are the different options for cheerleading? Myeisha, would you mind taking this one?
Sure thing, anything. Bobby, feel free to jump in, anything I don't cover. Cheerleading and dance are part of our clubs on campus. They typically come to different events across campus. They come to men and women's basketball games, which is pretty cool. Any events that we have, we had a cross-country event on campus. They were there to cheer on the people at the finish line. Typically, any events that admissions has, things of that nature, they're always around. Bobby, anything else you want to add?
No, I'll just say that if you're interested in cheerleading, you can reach out to me via email, and I'm happy to get you in touch with our team captain as well as our coach. Typically, cheerleading doesn't get started until the start of the school year, unlike our athletes who come a little bit early. So if you decide, if you're deciding throughout the summer if you want to participate, but then you see us out at the club fair in the beginning of the semester, feel free to come on by and sign up for our club sports as well.
Thank you so much. And so it looks like we are pretty much at the end of our kind of general athletic questions. If you have a more specific one that you'd like to ask, if we could go ahead and go around the group again. And if you could, Myeisha and Bobby specifically, if you could say your contact information so that if students do have a specific question they can ask. And then as well, you can always start with the Brandywine admissions team. So Brandywine admissions can be reached at bwadmissions@psu.edu. So if Myeisha and Bobby, if you could do the same.
Awesome. I'll go first. My email for Bobby Caprice is bmc5269@psu.edu. I will give a plug for our website. Our Assistant Athletic Director, Jeff Scarpone, does a really great job with keeping our website up to date. That's psubrandywineathletics.com. All sorts of good information on there, updates of our teams, but also our staff information as well. So feel free to check that out, as well as all of our social media accounts. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So feel free to follow us. I know Myeisha and Jeff are working hard to get our recruited athletes up on our social media accounts. So we hope that you follow us so that you can see breaking news when you commit to us, which has been really exciting. So we're doing a good job with keeping our social media up to date during this, during this time where we're all virtual.
All right, next, so as Bobby mentioned, the website is a great place to find it if you miss any of the information, but my email is M as in Myeisha, I-M as in Myeisha @psu.edu. I answer pretty frequently. Any questions you guys have, feel free to reach out. My office number is on there. It's also plugged into my phone, so feel free to use that as well.
Thank you. And really quickly, we got a couple more quick questions that just came in. I'll start with Myeisha for this one. Is it possible to join a sport at Penn State Brandywine without having experience with that sport? So somebody coming in and didn't have, experience playing in high school, but is it possible that they would ever get playtime at Penn State Brandywine?
Sure. Yeah, it's certainly possible. It depends on the sport. Our coaches are going to be realistic with you and let you know, because we do compete at a high level. I will say that, it's not the easiest walk in the park, but we do compete at a high level. Our coaches do often do, workouts and things of that nature to kind of see and scale talent. But yeah, it is possible. But the coach will have a more realistic answer for you than I would. But certainly 100% it is possible. Again, it would all be depending on the coach.
Thank you very much. And last one for Bobby here. Bobby, is there fall ball for baseball?
There certainly is. So we typically do about a 4 to 5 week fall ball season. That's both baseball and softball, as well as our soccer teams and volleyball teams typically do a spring season for them in the spring, the opposite season. The way that college athletics works is that you get a total number of weeks for the entire school year. So for baseball and softball, we get to compete for 19 weeks throughout the year. So the coaches break that up however they want. So some coaches prefer to go 4 weeks in the fall or 5 weeks, and then that determines their start date in the spring. So every coach has a different preference. Baseball specifically typically does 4 to 5 weeks in the fall.
Thank you so much. And I think I'm going to pass this over to Pamela Coghlan.
Yes, hi, thank you, Claire. As you all can see, what I was reiterating in the beginning of our program of what a wonderful team and program the Athletic has, and I'm so proud to work with them. We're so proud of all of you that have been accepted and are excited to join the Athletic family. As I mentioned, I cannot speak of a better campus that when you, like I mentioned, that you have a home away from home, and how true that is and how much you feel that when you are a part of our campus. And we're so excited that you're going to be joining us. And I would love to let Carrie finish our program for you. And we'll be seeing you soon. Thank you again.
All righty, thank you so much, Pamela Coghlan. So yes, as you see, my video is now just the Nittany Lion smiling at you, but you had seen me earlier as we were getting things started and transitioning from our different sessions. So yes, we seem to be kind of wrapping this session up a little bit early, but I think that that's mostly just because we were so concise. We got a ton of info out to you as quickly as we could. We wanted to make sure that we answered everything that you had shared with us in terms of your questions. We also, of course, thank our student athletes that have spent their time with us today. We know that you guys are taking the time out of your day to be with us. So thank you so much for that and sharing your stories with us. But we just want to, again, reiterate, I know that we have all said this multiple times, but we are here for you, even though you may not be seeing some of us right this second, our videos are off. But we are here for you, even though this is a crazy time right now in our lives. But whether you are staying on this call and you are a recruited student athlete, even if you stayed on this call and you are the parent of just a student and you just wanted to hear kind of another session and what's going on with us still at this point. We want to say thank you. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for spending your Saturday morning into afternoon with us. We are going to be here for you basically no matter what. As we have said in other sessions, if you've already committed to Penn State Brandywine, that is so awesome, so exciting. You will get more information, especially through email. So please make sure to keep an eye on your email over the next few weeks, over the next few months or so. But if you ever have anything, even though you've committed already, if you have anything that you want to ask us about, don't hesitate. There are no stupid questions, and you won't get answers if you don't ask those questions. So reaching out to us is just imperative. And for those who haven't made their decision yet, even more so, if you have questions, if you have concerns, we want to make sure that we address those things for you. So hopefully over the past few hours that you've spent with us today, we have been able to answer some of those things for you and make you feel a little bit better about this process. And ultimately, we understand we have to be realistic, and we understand that we might not end up being the right choice for you, and that is fine. We know that there are so many amazing opportunities out there for you, but we hope that today you saw some of those great things that we can offer to you, and that we've made maybe making your decision a little bit easier, because hopefully you have found something today that you can connect to and be a part of, hopefully in the upcoming year or so. So at this point, because no other questions have come in, I do think it is time to let you folks go. You probably would like to go get lunch or use the restroom. So please, at this point, feel free to do that. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. We thank you again. We are reminding you that we have recorded these sessions, and we will make sure that we make them available to you. If you missed a question, if you missed an email address or a website, you will be able to access that later. And of course, again, if you would love to see our beautiful campus, even though you can't come visit us right now, we want you to take our virtual tour. It's on our website. It was linked to you in the agenda for the registration when you registered for this event. Please, that is there for you to look at any time of day and see those beautiful pictures and the videos of what our campus has to offer to you. We are going to make sure that we're monitoring our emails throughout the rest of today as well. So if you have those questions and you want to try and get them answered as soon as possible, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Otherwise, thank you so much, everyone, for being with us, and we hope to see you in the future. We are Penn State.